Hello, my name is Dale DuFay. Now, first of all, welcome to the YouTube channel, The Mandela Effect Equals Everything. Now, this previously was known as The Mandela Effect Equals Enlightenment, and before that it was The Mandela Effect Equals Knowledge. Now, every time when I change it to Enlightenment, every time I try to type in the title when I was doing the upload, the suggestion on the suggestion bar while you're typing would come up everything every time I try to put enlightenment. Now, it kept doing it. And then finally I was thinking, well, actually that sounds pretty good. Not only does it sound good, but it's true. The Mandela Effect equals everything. It's literally giving us an education as to what life is about and what it's always been about. It's proving that quantum entanglement is the basic fundamental foundation of existence. It's proving that everything we do is based on that premise. Now, we couldn't even be, breathing. There's so many things that we do automatically. And I've always wondered, how that is and how our body functions and things, that are automatic happen, like breathing, blinking and things, all sorts of things. And it turns out that the Mandela Effect has revealed that that's the quantum entanglement. It's revealing quite obviously beyond any other, theories out there. This is very, because all the other theories are all on the premise that things are changing. And things are obviously not changing. They're just different. And we know this because some of the things that appear to be changing are impossible. Like it's impossible for our Earth to shrink 4 times the size overnight. It's impossible for South America to move east some 1,200 miles overnight. It's impossible for the continent of Antarctica on the North Pole to disappear entirely overnight. So what else could there be? This is simply another Earth in the similar solar system, an entirely different location within the Milky Way galaxy. From my calculations, this solar system is some 75,000 light years from the solar system or the reality I recall. So what does that tell us? That this reality has always existed. That we were always in this reality. We were just oblivious to it. But the Mandela Effect is revealing it to us, not to scare us, not to say something sinister is happening. It's to show us. It's finally revealing the secret of life, or the sacred secret, and some Bible translations refer to it as in John, or Revelation, chapter 7, verse 10. Now, it's also known as the mystery of God, or and many of you know, if you've watched my videos over the years, that definitely not theocratic or religious. I used to be. I consider myself a Christian, but the Mandela Effect has also revealed that there's no such thing as one true religion. That the religions of the world are wrong about a great many things, but they're also very good in a lot of things as well. But there's, it's just revealing so many incredible things. So basically you could say I'm spiritual. And the Mandela Effect is proving that the human condition or humanity in and of itself is more spiritual than we could ever even have imagined. It's revealing that our soul is one as a whole. Of course, we're one human being, one person. Our uniqueness and everything is not any different. In fact, it's greater. It's more incredible now that we understand what's going on, that our soul is definitely splintered and fractured. And each portion is coalesced and it was born in a replica version of yourself in another reality, in in some cases, like I said, separated by 75,000 light years. So that proves that our realities I always believed in the parallel, that we had parallel realities, but I always assumed, like most, physicists assume, that it's separated by dimensions. But that's another thing the Mandela Effect's revealing. It's not separated by dimensions, only separated by distance. Such great distances that involved here that we could never run into you could never ever run into a replica version of yourself without, of course, traveling trillions and trillions and, miles. But that's impossible. We don't have that technology. And even if we did, if you went to go visit yourself in another reality, say just 1,000 light years away or 1 light year away, but if while you're going, then all the other replica versions of yourself are making the same trip. So you would never, your paths may cross and you may never know it out in the vastness of space, but you would never come. If you came back to, say, another reality, then people are just going to say, oh, you came back, Just like when they're sending the probes off to these other exoplanets, they're going to, all of a sudden, probes are going to be coming back to this reality on this Earth, and they're going to think, wow, our probe came back, when in fact it came from another entirely different reality and from an entirely different location in the Milky Way galaxy. They wouldn't know that unless they see slight variations and differences in the construction of the probe, which there's bound to be, because we see that. And that's what's so confusing and perplexing about the Mandela Effect is for the most part, everything is identical. But are these variations and differences in places where we should expect to see them. Like, of course, the solar system and the Earth. Here in these realities, it's much, much smaller. Not just the Earth, the entire solar system, the sun, everything. Could that be because it's a younger Earth, being so close to the galactic center as we are in this reality and always have been? Or is it just simply because it's just a different solar system and different Earth? But that could be the case. But I tend to lean towards the fact that it's a younger Earth, because the super Earths, in the reality I recall, we never knew it was a super Earth, but it is indeed a super Earth. Is out on the outer reaches of the galactic arm, the Sagittarius arm. So we can assume that perhaps these solar systems are created in the galactic center, where the galaxy never takes a break, and venture their way out and grow as they age. This Earth could perhaps be millions, if not billions, of years younger than the Sagittarius super Earths on the outer reaches of the galactic arm, Sagittarius arm. So, that's why I firmly believe in the expanding Earth theory, which seems to make so much more sense than, plate tectonics meshing into each other. The Earth is constantly growing. Of course, human beings in many, many generations, even with technology, would never realize the Earth is growing because it's so infinitesimal, in our eyes, in our lifetime. And, in other words, this Earth has virtually been this size and in the same location in the Milky Way galaxy as long as humanity's been on these Earths. So, but it's amazing, that's why I say the Mandela Effect equals everything, because it really does. It's showing us what life has always been like. I mean, I repeat myself over and over because I've already talked about this so much. I love talking about it, but I hate repeating myself on the video. But, I still love talking about it. Like I always say, even the dinosaurs had a parallel existence because their fossil record is in every reality. So, the archaeologists seem that, they might paint the bones a different color. I remember the bones and the dinosaur fossils being pure white in the reality I recall. But here they're patina color, which is more appropriate. It seems like things are more appropriate in these realities, and things are more flamboyant in the realities out in the outer reaches. That's why you'll see the lion will lay with the lamb as opposed to wolf will lay with the lamb, because the wolf and the lamb are more natural enemies, whereas the lion is more, you know certainly would love to eat a lamb, but the reality is they're not going to ever intermingle, even in as a hunter and prey. So it's more appropriate that the wolf and the lamb would lie together, but more flamboyant that they speak of it as a lion. So it's interesting to see the variations and differences between these realities, and we have to realize that we've always been in this reality. We never knew it, nor did the portion of your soul that was in this version of yourself, this replica version of yourself, had no idea that there was a version of yourself out 75,000 light years away on the outer reaches of the galactic Sagittarius galactic arm, doing the exact same thing you are, or you're doing the exact same thing they are. See, that's the amazing thing. It explains so many things about why we can, life in general. Like for example, there's so many automatic things we do, like breathing, eye blinking, all kinds of things that we do automatically. And I've always wondered how that could be, but the Mandela Effect has revealed it, with clearly revealed why that is and how that is. It's because we, have this constant connection with other replica versions of ourselves throughout the entire Milky Way galaxy. It's really quite extraordinary when you think about it. It explains so many things, why we humans do the things we do, why life does the things it does, why there's natural born instincts in the animal life and in humans as well. But it's the fractured and splintered soul. It's a belief in many Eastern religions. Of course, they don't know where the other soul portions are. It'd be something if they realized that the other soul portions, every portion of your soul, is in another replica version of yourself somewhere else in the galaxy, on a very similar Earth. That's the thing. Everything that is vastly different, like the differences between the Sagittarius super Earths and the Orion dwarf Earths, is they're so unusually similar, and that's the really amazing thing. But anyway, I just wanted to touch base with you and talk about why I changed the name, because it is more applicable if you think about it. The Mandela Effect equals everything. And I wanted to show too that I'm working on this mobile home we have completely gutted and stripped down the floor down to the steel frame and everything, and just rebuilding from the ground up and totally doing the skirting and everything, and basically turn the underneath of this mobile home into a crawl space, insulated crawl space. So, but the amazing thing is I realize I'm doing this in every single reality, and that's really fascinating. And once you realize that and you go about your everyday, work or what you do during the day, and you realize that there's other replica, perhaps an infinite amount of replica versions of yourself doing the exact same thing in every single reality, it really helps you to really, really work on things and get things done, and in a more orderly fashion. Because the more you concentrate, the more you know that the other replica versions of yourselves that have been sharing your soul since the day you were born are concentrating as well. That's why you're able to get things done better when you really concentrate. That's why we have to practice. It's that quantum entanglement. It's really amazing what the Mandela Effect's revealing. But once you realize that, it really does help yourself, go. In fact, I encourage you to look at I'll leave the link below in the description box below the video, but I leave a link to my personal channel where I've been documenting the remodeling of this mobile home in South Haven, Michigan. And of course, it's in South Haven, Michigan in every single reality. It doesn't matter if the solar system and the Earth is 75,000 light years away or not. There is a South Haven, Michigan. There is a Dale DuFay working on a mobile home there, in every single reality. And once you realize that, it's really remarkable. And of course, you have to believe it. If you even buy into this theory that we have a multiple realities in different locations in the Milky Way galaxy, is still it has to be in your heart. You have to really, really believe it. And I know many of you have different ideas on what's going on. I'm not saying I'm correct, but to me, it's so obvious that what else could it be? Again, everything else is impossible. You have to eliminate the things that are impossible, and whatever is left, as improbable as it may be, has to be the truth, because this is happening. It's not our memory. I mean, I thoroughly remember Antarctica. I thoroughly remember South America being lined up with North America, not some 1,200 miles to the east. Now, these things couldn't have happened overnight. It's impossible. The location of the solar system couldn't have changed, ventured into closer to the galactic center 75,000 light years overnight. That's impossible. But yet here we are. And we've always been here. It's very obvious, because the people around you don't say that, hey, where did you come from, or you're different, or anything like that. Because that proves we've always been here. Now, why do other people not see any variations and differences, or what we perceive as changes? Is because they've always been here. They still have the original portion of their soul they were born with. They're not experiencing the Mandela Effect. So to them, everything is exactly as it should be. To us, it's so different. But once you realize that, then you're not going around, saying, don't you see the changes? And they're not angry and confused and not understanding why they don't see the changes and the variations and differences which we perceive as changes. Because nothing's changed to them. It's always been like this. And then, believe me, there's so many variations and differences with the moon cycle, everything. It's amazing when you see the sun setting in the west, but yet the horizon on the east is lighting up. It's very different. That's because the Earth is so small, considerably smaller than the Sagittarius super-Earths, where sunsets and sunrise, or beautiful sunsets and beautiful sunrises, are very rare, especially sunrises. But here, the sunrises and sunsets almost on a daily basis are gorgeous, full of color and everything. And, so there's a lot of reasons to that. That's because things are so, different here. Now, when I say the lunar cycle is different, which it is, but it still has the all-important full moon, every month. It has the all-important solar eclipses and lunar eclipses that happen in every reality on the same day, same hour, same location, because that's that quantum entanglement. It must be maintained as much as possible, regardless of differences, locations in the galaxy, differences of whatever may occur. Like there's bound to be hiccups and things like that, which obviously there are. But yet the outcome always remains the same. That's the really important thing to realize. And that's the cool thing about quantum entanglement, and understanding what the Mandela Effect is revealing and showing us and teaching us how life has always been. Now, this is amazing, because humans have never been given this knowledge before. I doubt if even the first human couple even had any idea. This is the first time in all of human history that we've been given this knowledge, this basic, not basic, but this incredible knowledge and understanding of the secret of life and what it's all been about. I mean, it's not CERN causing this. That, I've always thought it was ironic, that they're getting all the credit for this. They're looking for the answers to life, and the Mandela Effect has already found it. And that's, or experiencing the Mandela Effect, we have already found it. And we've done it for free. I mean, look at how many billions of dollars they spent on that CERN research facility. and we're getting it for free. So yeah, I don't want to go with this 20 minutes long. I don't want to drag on about it because again, I'm just saying the same things over and over again. I'm not going to change my beliefs. I know many of you have your own beliefs, and that's fine. And I'm not saying I'm correct either, but there's no way I'm going to be convinced otherwise of what's going on here. To me, I look at this as a very positive, uplifting, miraculous event that is happening to us. I think it's remarkable. It's it's not cynical. It's not sinister in any way, shape, or form. But yet, everybody seems to be taking it that way. This is a very spiritual, very incredible phenomenon that's happening, and we shouldn't be frightened by it. We shouldn't be homesick. There's no reason to be homesick. You're home. You've always been here. It's just it's not like you remember it. But it's not because things have changed. It's impossible. It's just different. But yet, to this replica version of yourself, when it had its original soul portion, this is as it should be. I always like to think, and I mention this often, that the soul portion that was in this replica version of myself perhaps may be in the replica version of myself with my soul portion that I'll always have for the rest of my life that I was born with was in. You'll always have that. You'll always have your memories from your reality you originated from. But I like to think that this portion of my soul that was in this version of myself is there where I came from, in the body that this portion of my soul originated from. And they're thinking the same thing that I am, but in different terms. They cannot believe how huge and beautiful the earth is, and as much as I cannot believe how small and beautiful this earth is. It's amazing when you think about it. They perhaps miss this reality as much as I miss the reality I originated from, even though we think that reality we came from was more beautiful than this one, when it's not, because they probably think that this one is more beautiful than the one they're in now. Because it's false assumption that it's your home, when in reality, every single earth and every single reality throughout the Milky Way galaxy is your home. Think about that. That's just wonderful what the Mandela Effect is revealing. That's why this channel and the ones previous to this, and even Terrors of the Milky Way, the one I was doing for 3 years and deleted on my own because I wanted to start fresh, was always very positive. Now on the Terrors of the Milky Way, I was counting the realities and I felt uncomfortable about that. That's why I stopped doing it and deleted it, because I don't think that was right. It's not important either. What's important is what the Mandela Effect is revealing. So with that, I thank you for watching, and we'll talk at you later. Love you.